In this segment, you will learn about why food safety is important when working with food, how you can be food safe anytime you and others are in the kitchen.
Hi, I'm Alexandra and I'm a hospitality trainer, and I've spent more than 34 years in the hospitality industries and in various workplaces, and I've seen lots of things in relation to food safety. In Australia, there are over 5 million cases of food poisoning every year, and about 20% of those actually occur in our homes, so we give each other food poisoning. So one thing to remember, if we start learning about food safety, we can actually make it safer for ourselves and our friends and family. So when they come into our home, we can make sure that everything we serve them are going to be safe. Food poisoning can happen in a variety of ways, and these are from bacteria, from chemicals such as pesticides from our fruit and vegetables or our detergents. They're from natural toxins in foods such as moulds, and they can come from pests and also things like toothpicks and glass from our environment. One of the main things that causes food poisoning is bacteria, and they come from many sources. Sometimes it's the food itself, it's the people whose hands are unclean, so our food handlers, animals such as mice and insects in the food environment, and our equipment that has not been cleaned and sanitised properly. There are 4 main ways that we can prevent food poisoning. Number 1 is to avoid cross-contamination of food with dangerous bacteria. That means that we don't want to put raw food and then having it touch cooked food. Storing foods outside the danger zone. So if we're going to have things in the fridge, we need to keep them between 1 and 4 degrees. If we're going to have hot food, we need to keep it hotter than 60 degrees. Remember that 5 to 60 degrees is the danger zone that bacteria will grow. We need to maintain good personal hygiene, so the food handler needs to make sure that they keep all their uniforms and their clothes clean, their hair and their nails, and have a daily shower. We need to keep the food preparation and storage areas cleaned and sanitised, so we need to make sure at the beginning of our work and at the end of our work that we clean our kitchen. We want to enjoy our time in the kitchen knowing that we're taking the right steps to protect the people who eat our food. Going to talk about our shopping and how we can make it safe for our food safety. So when we go shopping, it's all about how we can keep our food safe when we bring it home. In fact, here's our shopper now. Hi Josh, how are you?
I'm good, thanks Alex.
You look a bit exhausted there.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Just a small shop.
Just a small one, yeah.
And when you did your shopping, how did you make sure that you kept everything safe at the supermarket to bring it home?
There are a few things that I kept in mind while I was out at the shops, because I know you like your food to be super food safe for when it gets back to you. So a couple of things that I did while I was at the shops. I always inspect products just before I buy them. I make sure items are at the right temperature, that the packing isn't damaged in any way, and that they are well within the use-by date. I made sure that any hot, chilled or frozen items were picked up last. At the checkout, I made sure they were packed separately into these chiller bags so that they stayed at the right temperature all the way home. I keep the car clean and hygienic and free of chemicals, and I made sure I came straight back to where I needed to be so that food wasn't in the car for any longer than it needed to be.
Thanks Josh for going shopping. I hate shopping. So that was great for picking up all those groceries and bringing them back for us.
No worries.
Excellent.
I'll be off now then, Alex, and good luck with the rest of it.
Yeah, and I've got Nettie coming in to put them away, I believe.
Excellent.
Thanks for coming, Nettie, to help put away the groceries. How about you put the dry goods away in the dry good cupboard, and I'll take care of the freezer and the things from the fridge.
Sure things, Alex.
Okay, so here's the bag, and you know where to go. Yep.
Oh, Alex, this one's out of date. What shall we do with it?
Oh, let's have a look.
Look at that. It's well and truly out of date.
Gee, nearly 2 months. What do we do with things? If we're in doubt, let's throw it out. Okay, not worth taking a chance. So in the bin it goes. I'll put away the chilled goods. Oh, Josh has got meat, all sorts of things. So we've got chicken, and all our chicken and our meat should be put on one shelf, the raw ones. We've got prepared salad, so that goes above the raw meat. and so do the eggs. We've got all these lovely vegetables and they go on our bottom shelf. And milk. We need to keep that in our fridge as well. Okay, Nettie, I'll put the frozen foods away as well. Oh, Nettie, if you've got a minute, I'll just show you something that's quite helpful. What is it? By putting your things in the freezer, just putting a label on the date that you put them in the freezer and what it is will make it easier for you to know when you have to use them by.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, just with a pen, just on a label. Well, I've got all my helpers here and we're getting ready to go. All aprons on and we're going to be practicing safe food handling in the kitchen. We need to make sure that we follow all the food safety checklists. Clean clothes, our hair tied back if it's long, it should be clean and neat. Minimal jewellery, especially on hands and wrists. Clean, short fingernails. Blue band-aids on cuts and you need to wear a glove. Clean apron, and certainly no eating, drinking, smoking or chewing gum while we're cooking. I'm going to show you how we wash our hands when it comes to keeping our food safe. So what we do is we have a tap that has no handle, so it's going to be a sensor tap, or it might be a knee operated, but we've got no handles. So a bit of water on your hands, and then we have liquid soap. So we squirt our soap, okay, and we massage it in to our hands and our wrists for about 20 to 30 seconds. And that can be happy birthday. We can sing the song to ourselves. We need to make sure that we get into all these parts of our fingers, all around our fingertips, all around in our webbing, around our wrists, for about 20 to 30 seconds. Then we rinse it off. Make sure you rinse off the soap well, because we don't want to get any soap on our food. And then we'll dry them with our paper towel. Okay? Okay. And that's what you need to do every time that you need to wash your hands, and then the paper towel goes in the bin. Okay? Do you want to try? Ensure that your ready-to-eat foods are not handled with bare hands. Always use gloves or utensils. Keep ready-to-eat foods separate from raw meats, poultry and seafood, as they can pass across bacteria, which is cross-contamination. Use separate utensils for raw and ready-to-eat foods, because that also has bacteria that we can pass from one thing to the other. Protect food in the refrigerator by placing it in covered containers or covering it with a food wrap and labelling. And wash your fruit and vegetables before you eat them. Okay guys, you're doing a great job with your chopping, but just remember you need to use your green boards for your vegetables, your white boards for the cheese, we've got our yellow boards for our raw poultry, and there's a blue board for seafood, we have a red board for red meat and raw meat, and they're the main boards. But if you haven't got that at home, don't worry, just make sure that every time you cut raw meat or then go to cut vegetables that you clean your board really well in hot soapy water and dry it before you use it for the next piece of cutting. Once food is cooked, the most important thing is that we need to keep it safe, and that's to make sure that we've got everything at the right temperature until we need it. Bacteria grows in the danger zone, and remember that's 5 to 60 degrees, so we need to make sure that we don't keep food in this zone for very long. All food that's cold should be between 1 and 4 degrees. This includes cold meats, sandwiches, cream cakes, salads, dairy food, pies, just to name a few. If we need to keep food hot, it needs to be more than 60 degrees. When reheating food, remember to make sure that it's hot all the way through, so it needs to be bubbling. And once you've reheated, throw the rest out if you're not going to use it. Remember, only reheat it once, otherwise you could have a lot of bacteria growing in your food. If in doubt, throw it out. We've talked about many aspects of food safety today, but the last thing we need to talk about is how do we keep our kitchen clean. Not everybody's lucky enough to have a dishwasher. The dishwasher does a lot of things for us and does all the washing without us having to do a lot of effort. If we don't have a dishwasher, we can use our sinks. So there's things that we can do to make sure that we keep our kitchen clean so that we can prevent food poisoning. Okay, Nettie, you're going to wash the board. You cut the cheese, so we need to make sure it's clean. So you need to use your brush and give it a good scrub front and back. So that we can put it away and be clean for the next time. That's great. And then she'll do the other side, because that's the side that's been sitting next to the bench and we don't know what bacteria has been there. Wow, that's fantastic. Won't be any bacteria left on that board. We've talked a lot about food safety today, and remember that if you maintain this food safety, you're going to prevent people from getting sick. So remember to follow those food safety steps that we've talked about and have fun in the kitchen. Enjoy your time and enjoy your time with your friends. Make sure that your kitchen's safe.